After I was reborn, the first thing I did was fill the pond at my villa with piranhas. I also put a massive corn snake and some black tarantulas in my study, then quietly waited for my ex-girlfriend to come knocking. In my last life, she snuck her entire family into my villa while I was away. They slept in my bed, opened my expensive wine, and her 2 nephews destroyed every collectible figure in my study. When I confronted her, she tried to guilt-trip me by live-streaming her suicide, claiming I was driving her to death over a few toys. The clueless viewers hated me to the bone. They trashed my company and threw rotten eggs at me while I was crossing the street. As I tried to dodge them, a speeding car hit me and sent me flying. Now I'd been reborn right after our breakup. This time I was going to let her whole family enjoy my house to the fullest. Mark, why did you change the code? I can't even get inside. Liu Ruyan had been waiting outside my house. By the time she finally caught me, we'd already been broken up for 20 days. The reason was simple. She'd secretly gone out to play pool with another man. We broke up, so of course I changed the code. You're not welcome through this door anymore. Mark, we were together once. How can you be so heartless? That man turned out to be married, and I've already cut him off. I promised my sister and her 2 boys they could stay here for the holidays. I don't even have a place to live right now. You're going home for the holidays anyway, so the house will be empty. Why not let my family stay here? Liu Ruyan had visited plenty of times. She knew my villa looked modest from the outside, but the inside was insanely luxurious. It had smart appliances, a fish pond in the yard, and a storage room packed with food. They could stay inside without leaving once and still have enough to eat through the entire holiday. What does you having nowhere to stay have to do with me? With that, I shoved her aside and went inside. The door slammed shut and I secretly watched her through the peephole. Liu Ruyan's expression instantly changed. Her fake sweet attitude vanished as she spat twice at my front door. I only asked because I was showing you respect. Once you leave for home, I'll get someone to break the lock. I'm staying in this house whether you like it or not. Seeing that smug look on her face made me laugh. That very night, I called a buddy and moved all my koi into his pond. Take care of them for me. Together, these fish are worth over 2 million yuan. I can't let Liu Ruyan and her family ruin them. Once the koi were gone, the pond looked a little empty. So I contacted a friend who kept exotic fish and told him I wanted something aggressive. Early the next morning, he delivered a huge box of piranhas and 2 massive snapping turtles. After dumping the piranhas into the pond, I covered the surface with aquatic plants so no one would notice them and get scared. Those things were vicious. The second they smelled blood, they could strip a full-grown goose down to the bone in minutes. The snapping turtles were just as fierce, so the big water tank in the backyard was perfect for them. They could survive all winter without eating or drinking. I was pretty satisfied, so I asked whether he had any reptiles to recommend. I also mentioned that I'd be away for the holidays and wanted to scare off burglars. He immediately understood. How about a corn snake? It isn't venomous, but it's huge and looks terrifying. I also have some black tarantulas. They're pretty intimidating too. I nodded. I'll take them all. That wasn't all. I hired movers to pack up every collectible in my study and store them at another property, so her 2 nephews couldn't destroy them. Then I removed everything else of value from the house. Of course, I couldn't leave the place looking completely empty. I put several poisonous plants in obvious spots, replaced all the toiletries with expired ones, and swapped the expensive wine for random counterfeit bottles. I was rich and clueless, so accidentally buying fake wine sounded perfectly believable. I also replaced the premium frozen seafood with rotten fish and shrimp taken from a dumpster. They love seafood, right? This time, they could eat all they wanted. Before leaving, I had more than a dozen hidden cameras installed. I wanted to see everything happening inside the house and save the footage as evidence for the police. Once everything was ready, I leisurely grabbed my luggage and left. Before I went, I placed a large warning sign on the front door. Cute pets inside, no trespassing. Enter at your own risk. That way, if anything happened to them, it wouldn't be my fault. I'd already warned them, but I knew Liu Ruyan too well. There was no way she could resist. The moment I left, I headed straight for the high-speed rail station. The first thing I did after boarding was open every security camera feed in the house, especially the one facing the front door. Sure enough, Liu Ruyan didn't disappoint me. She showed up with a locksmith from her village. Under her orders, he forced my front door open within minutes. When she saw how spotless the house was, Liu Ruyan was thrilled. She replaced my fingerprint lock with a cheap one, ripped down my warning sign, and tossed it into the filthy ditch beside the house. She had no idea the cameras had captured every single thing she did. As soon as the locksmith left, she rushed into the storage room. When she saw cabinets full of wine and a refrigerator packed with food, she couldn't stop grinning. Look at all this food. When my sister brings the kids over for the holidays, we're going to eat like kings, she muttered to herself as she returned to the living room, turned on the floor heating throughout the house, collapsed onto the couch, and started watching TV. She didn't leave until 2 hours later, probably to pick up her sister and nephews. I happened to arrive at my stop around then. I closed the camera feed, grabbed my luggage, and got off the train. By the time I reached my hometown and checked the cameras from my bed, Liu Ruyan had already brought in her sister, Liu Yiyi, and her 2 troublemaking sons, Da Zhuang and Er Zhuang. The moment Liu Yiyi entered, she started praising the place. This huge house is incredible. Your ex-boyfriend has way too much money. Of course, he's loaded. He still refuses to forgive me, but as long as I stay here until he comes back, we'll spend enough time together to fall in love again eventually. Liu Yiyi didn't see anything wrong with breaking into someone else's home. Instead, she started giving Liu Ruyan even worse ideas. When he comes back, cling to him and find a way to get pregnant. It doesn't even have to be his. As long as you pin it on him and become a family, this huge villa will be yours. Sis, you really do have the best ideas. No wonder you managed to get 5 million yuan out of your ex-husband. Seeing that no one else was around, Liu Yi leaned closer and revealed a huge secret. Actually, these twins aren't my ex-husband's children at all.